Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Fullcolorwaterfowl podcast. On today's episode 107, From Frying Pan or to the Dumpster, a trend that's becoming, sadly, more and more of what we are as a waterfowler. But first, my sponsor of the program, True Dave Gear. True Dave Gear, from waterproof backpacks to their boots, to their knee boots, to their waders, breathable and neoprene. Give them a look, guys. They keep you warm, they keep you dry. I wear them because, well, they work. Simple as that. So on today's episode, the one thing that I wanted to jump into was a post that I had put on Instagram, basically, I think it was a day or two ago, that got a lot of traction. Got a lot of people talking. It had over 150 comments. It was viewed 50,000 times. It had a lot of people voicing their frustration of what they see out in the marsh as well, where my post was very simple. My post was, my hot take of the week was, if you don't eat them, don't hunt. Straightforward, to the point, what have you. For me, it was very simple. I just posted it as kind of like a, call to action, like I like to talk about a lot on these podcasts. But you see, when I dug into the comments and I dug into my direct messages through Instagram, it's amazing, sickening, quite honestly disgusting. What we do as waterfowlers, and I'll say we because there's a lot of us and we're a community, right? We say that we're a community, a band of brothers, whatever fancy slogan that you want to put on top of 1.6 million duck hunters across the United States. It's a small group. So if a small group is doing a lot of bad stuff, how do we change that? And by bad stuff, I'm not saying that everybody's doing illegal activity and whatever. These are just simply my opinions on what I post and how strongly I feel about different things. Because after all, you can have an opinion. But when I opened up some of these DMs and went into where the culture is at the current state that we're in, it's kind of alarming. It opened a conversation with a lot of people that, quite frankly, I don't know. Some of them were non-followers, some of them were non-hunters, but a lot of them were hunters. And a lot of people understood my perspective that I took on what I posted. So sometimes when I say at the surface, it doesn't look too bad. But when you dig deeper, you stir the bottom up a little bit, and you get to the root cause of a lot of problems, well, what do you find? In these conversations that I had with, mind you, a lot of people that either follow me or don't, regardless if you do or don't, that's irrelevant. But it opened up a conversation that was a bigger topic for me of just simply how we're treating the resource that we have. You see, a lot of these hot button topics that we have right now are, heated ponds and flooded corn and flooding the woods and putting bait out and however you want to look at it. Rich man's sport, not a rich man's sport, pushing the little guy out. All these different topics. Basically what it boils down to is a lot of whining. A lot of whining and not understanding that true resource that we're losing. Now you get into all this stuff about flooded cornfields and all the rest. Do I think it halts migration a little bit? Yeah, I do. Do I think it's the root cause? Absolutely not. The weather just does not go down south as far as it needs to go, where the frost line and the snow goes and how cold it gets, and that affects migration by far more than some rando having a flooded cornfield. Will they stay there until it freezes up and locks up tight? Yeah, they probably will. Does it slow it down? Yeah, it probably does. But that's neither here nor there. So right now in the waterfowl culture, that's the main sticking point. That's the main topic. You got all these people complaining. Complain. But when they do actually go out and they do go after the resource and they are successful, what do they do with those ducks? What do they do with those geese? What do they do with those snow geese from conservation season? See, a lot of the people that were commenting to me were, every time I go on a guided hunt where you get put in with another group of guys, there's either guys in my group or the opposite group that they shoot all the birds and leave them in a pile and, yeah, you can take mine. I don't want them. I don't eat them. Or, yeah, I'll take mine. I'm just going to throw them away. We've gotten to the point where you go from the pile pick to the dumpster. And it wasn't was not one group of people. I heard this from hundreds of different people that are saying the same thing. Yeah, I go out with my friends and we whack and stack birds and we just throw them behind the woodshed. We just take them to the dumpster. We throw them in a ditch. We want nothing to do with them because they taste disgusting. Well, my rebuttal to that is learn to fucking cook, for starters. You can make anything, and I mean anything, taste good. Minus maybe a common merganser. Don't shoot them because, yeah, you can't marinate a burnt tire and make it taste good, but that's neither here nor there. But that was the consensus from a lot of people. Oh, yep, that's right where divers go, right in the trash, because they're trash duck. We get in these topics of calling everything trash ducks. And what does it teach people? Well, it teaches people not to try them, just to shoot and kill them, throw them in the ditch, because why would you go through trying to make a dinner for your family out of a trash duck, air quotes. But then it got me thinking a little deeper into the topic. You see, if you're not going to eat the bird, why do you care what it looks like when you take them, when you harvest them? That's where we get into these people that'll go out there and they'll decoy their birds just to pillowcase the crap out of them. They'll sky blast them. They'll wing them. They'll sail them into the weeds because, don't got to count that one, but I hit it because I'm an awesome hunter. You get a lot of that negativity and just outright disdain for wildlife because, well, I got up this early. I should be able to at least shoot at stuff. If you're not going to shoot it, if you're not going to eat it, don't shoot it. It's very simple. Some of that stuff goes into psychopathic, like psycho, nuts, killing little animals for absolutely no reason other than to gratify yourself with wounding and harming and maiming things. A little weird, a little sick, not going to lie. But when did we get to the point of this? I think a lot of it has to do with our culture, our society and our culture, that is. Society as a whole. People don't cook anymore. People don't sit down with families, have an absolute banger of a dinner. I use that word because it's a little shaggy-haired word, but if you're not willing to put in the effort to do that stuff, to cook for your family, I'm not even saying ducks, just cook a meal in general. If you live off Chipotle, you live off of a brown bag from McDonald's, and that's your life of whatever you can get quick, or you're too damn lazy to go to the store and buy groceries, so you get fucking DoorDash. What a culture, what a life. That's where our society is going with a lot of these people, sadly. And I feel that percentage is growing. The people that aren't willing to take the time to put any effort into cooking wild game. And you see on the flip side of that, we have a lot of people in our culture that are trying to teach people. There's gentleman by the name, I think his Instagram handle is Wild Game Cook, is what he goes by, Field to Table, all sorts of ones out there that are showing you recipes on how to cook wild game. But the flip side of it is you get the people that'll comment on those pages and say, well, I'm not going to take ringneck divers and I'm not going to marinate them in 42 different seasonings and then brine them and put them in the fridge for 42 days just so I can eat the fucking thing. That's the comments you get. And then you get people that agree with it because they're not willing to learn how to cook. A dabbling duck, guys, if you like steak of any kind, and say you're a man and not somebody that eats cardboard and goes all the way to like done steaks, you can actually eat a steak medium rare. A duck can taste exactly like filet mignon, a ribeye steak. Yes, it's easy to do if you understand what you're doing. You take a big old fatty mallard and you pluck its breast. Pluck the feathers off its breast. Let's back up a second. Okay, cleaning a duck. Yes, cleaning a duck. Oh, it takes a long time. I don't have time for that. You had enough time to go sit in the marsh or a parking lot or a woods or what have you for 3-4 hours before sunup. You took all the time and effort of no sleep, 4 hours of sitting in a marsh just to shoot those 6 ducks, and the end result of that is you don't have 15 minutes of time It's really what it takes, guys, to clean 6 ducks and throw them in the freezer to be used later, or throw them in the refrigerator in some salt water and have them for dinner that night, or the next day rather. The fact of not having enough time is a cop-out, 100%. Now, let's circle back into something very, very, very simple. Learning how to do anything. You learned how to call. You learned how to set decoys. You learned how to get your ass out in the marsh and scout and find the birds. Learn how to prepare them. You did all the other steps just to kill something and throw it in the woods, or in the trash, or in the marsh, or wherever. Boot stomp it, and all the other stuff that you hear. Breasting out a duck. If at bare minimum you're going to keep anything, and you keep the breasts out of a duck, you can do it 2 simple ways. Really tough, guys. You literally take your finger, your pointer finger, and your thumb, squeeze the breast, the skin and the feathers right above the top heart-shaped piece of the breast. Squeeze really hard, push down toward the head, rips a big hole, exposes the breast. What do you do next? Take your fingers, go down that skin, peel it back, you expose the entire breast meat of that bird. Cut the breasts out and move on. I go into how to cut the breasts out, but you should be able to figure that out with the bajillion videos that are on YouTube to help you learn how to be better in life and not go to DoorDash. Simple things in life that you should already be able to do. Whether you're 16 or 80, you should be able to cut up a chicken, you should be able to cut up a duck. Not that hard. Now, if you want to take it another little bit further, and you want to get into the point where you want to pan fry a nice big old fat greenhead breast, okay? Pluck the breast, not very hard. You can see how the feathers lay on the breast. Grab them, pluck them the reverse way of how they are sitting on the bird, and it'll expose all the skin. Leave the skin on, cut the breast meat out. You'll notice that there's anywhere from 1/8 to a 1/2 inch of fat on some of these mallards, and you have all that cooking fat that's going to render down and make those birds taste delicious. So how do you do that? Very simple. A little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter, some seasoning. Season your breasts on both sides. Get that pan ripping hot. Sear the meat sides. Sear the fat side. Have it render down. You're not going to do it very long. 3 minutes maybe. Yeah, maybe 3 minutes a side. Maybe a little longer. It takes a little bit to get it perfect, but when you're done, that fat renders into that meat and helps cook that bird. You'll get crispy skin on the top. When you cut into that meat, it'll be medium rare. Yes, medium rare. That is how you eat a duck. You don't cook it all the way through unless you want it to taste like hot liver. Hot liver is the thing that everybody gets and then hates the way ducks taste because they don't know how to cook. Now, if you want to go full circle and go into all these other different realms, there's plenty of ways to do it that don't take a lot of time. If you develop a system, you can have 6 birds done literally in less than 15 minutes. If you're not saving thigh meat or plucking whole birds and all that other stuff, at bare minimum, every hunter should be saving the breast out of every bird. Otherwise, you just should not be shooting them. Now, if you want to go out and whack and stack coots because you think they're nest predators and what have you, and you don't want to eat them, simple solution, guys. You got a dog, right? Take the breast meat out of them, God forbid. They gave their life and you shot them for what? Some reason, right? You wanted to get rid of them. Well, that's great. So you got them. You got 15 of them because that's the limit. And you want to take and do something with them. You don't want to throw them in the garbage. Okay? Breast them out. Cook them in a pan. Dice it up. Throw it in with your dog's food. Dog will eat them. Hands down. I hear all the things. Oh, my dog wouldn't even. He frowned his nose up at it when he walked toward. Shut up. Get out of here. Come on now. If you're willing to shoot it, something has to be done with it. I hear all the time people, I don't shoot a lot of Canada geese. Why? Because I don't like how they taste. To me, they taste rancid. They taste very gamey. I've made them a couple different ways where if I'm going to shoot them, I'll make them into like sausage and whatnot. That stuff's not bad. Some of my divers I'll get mixed with chicken thigh meat, and we get them made at a local place in town here called Ski's Meat Market. They do a duck and chicken mixed together, mushroom and wild rice brat, which tastes amazing. But if you're not going to take the effort, then don't bother. There's so many different ways that you can make duck taste good. Go online, figure that part out. Like I said before, you took all the time and money and effort to go get them. It shouldn't be to just throw them in the trash. So when it comes to cooking, well, I already talked about pan-searing breasts, which is very easy to do. If you don't mind a little bit of liver flavor, you can cook a duck all the way through. If you're going to do that kind of stuff, obviously I would recommend dabblers over divers. If you're going to just do a straight, like fry in a pan, like a stir fry and what have you. But marinating them is very simple. Take the breast meat, slice it into strips, thin strips, throw it in a Ziploc bag, put some teriyaki sauce in it. Mush it around with your hand, put it in the refrigerator, let it marinate overnight. Take it out, get your stuff ripping hot, throw it in a pan, sear it, add your veggies, add your stuff that you like. Red pepper is a good flavor that goes with that kind of stuff, broccoli and what have you, and serve it over a bed of rice. If that's something you like, go ahead and eat it that way. But at least give it a try before just whipping them in the dumpster. When it comes to cooking, guys, it's very simple. If you want easy recipes for things, pan searing a duck breast, super, super easy. Snow geese, same way. Marinate them in a bag, throw them on the grill. Very fast, very quick. Take them off, let them cool. Medium rare, boom, delicious. Easy recipe for me, if you're a person that likes to put something in something else. I use a lot of the diver meat that I get, or coots for that matter, and we make them into egg rolls. I found this recipe online. I think her name is Jennifer Danella, something like that. She made a very, very simplistic egg roll recipe that it is the easiest thing to make. You drive to Chipotle and you get lost, so you got to do DoorDash because you're that not lacking the ability to figure out how to feed yourself. This is literally like 6 ingredients. You get egg roll wrappers. Yes, egg roll wrappers. They are literally over by in your grocery store, probably next to the guacamole and everything else in the cooler. By like the onions and everything else. If you don't know where the onions and the peppers are in your grocery store, well, we got a little bit more work with you. But if you can find the egg roll wrappers, you're like 30% of the way there. 4 duck breasts. Sliced, diced, chopped up fine, almost like a pate. Pate, for you, the guys that go to McDonald's every day, is finely diced up meat to where it basically looks like it's paste, or almost paste. So 4 breasts. Throw them in a bowl. Pateed out, and get them in the bowl. 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese. Yes, sharp cheddar cheese. Takes a little bit of that gaminess out if you do have any. You're going to take 1 block of cream cheese. 1 block. It's a square, like things you make basically a cheesecake out of. So you got your duck, you got your sharp cheddar cheese, you got your block of cream cheese in there. Now, depending on your spice level, 2 or 4 jalapenos. Diced up finely. Little tiny squares, that's what that means. And then you're going to add salt and pepper to taste. Basically, a little pinch of salt and a couple rounds of cracked black pepper or pepper out of a can that's already crunched up if you don't know how to grind pepper. And you're going to mix all that stuff together. Once all that stuff's mixed together, it's going to make a paste. It's going to basically look like, well, Play-Doh. Weird way to put it, but, it's going to look like some Play-Doh. Meat Play-Doh. You take about a tablespoon and a half. The tablespoon is the bigger spoon of the 2. And you're going to take that and you're going to take it out of the bowl, put it in the middle of your hand, make it into a log. Yep, a little log. Throw that in the bottom onto the top of the egg roll wrappers. You're going to flip the egg roll wrapper packaging over, and it's going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to fold the sides and roll the egg roll wrapper. It's not that hard, guys. Pretty easy. You're going to egg wash the corners. Yeah, egg wash means you crack an egg, put it in a bowl, you give it a little whisk, and then you take your finger and use that egg as like a glue to be able to make that egg roll stick together. Vegetable oil, canola oil, it doesn't matter. Get your oil ripping hot. Get it up to like a slow, almost like a rolling boil with your oil, and you're going to drop one in as a test egg roll. Make sure she's going good. You're going to cook them until they're golden brown on the outside. They'll be cooked on the inside because you're dropping them into ripping hot oil, just like your French fries at McDonald's. And once they're golden brown, you take them out, and you're gonna serve them with two different things. You're gonna get sweet and sour sauce, which is like a red sauce, sweet. That's why I call it sweet and sour. Little sweet, little sour. And then if you like a little heat, you can either have horseradish or Chinese spicy mustard on the side as well. I guarantee if you make any duck, I think you could probably even put common merg in that and it would taste good. You put any duck in that and you make it into an egg roll, I guarantee they will be the talk of the party or the talk of the dinner table because they're that delicious. So at the end of the day, guys, what does it really come down to? Trying to be a better person, trying to be better for your family, and trying to be a better hunter and outdoorsman by utilizing what we're taking. We give non-hunters a lot of fuel. A lot of fuel. You see all the videos online where, people are playing with crippled birds, or you're pissing off non-hunters because they're using a public area and you're using a public area for hunting and they're cussing each other out. There was one lady that was in Washington a couple days ago going ballistic on some hunters. The reason why a lot of that stuff happens is, they see what we do. They're watching us. We don't necessarily watch them because I don't have time for all that crap. However, they are watching us because they're trying to find any excuse to get rid of what we do. So coolers full of snow geese, back beds of trucks full of snow geese, taken to a dumpster, taken to a ditch, taken to a public land parking lot. All that kind of stuff matters to the non-hunter, and it should matter to you. So if you're seeing this stuff, call it out. Use this stuff. If you don't use it, and you're one of these people that just throws them behind the house or whatever that is, ask before you go hunting this year, or next year rather, because we're already out of our season. But before you get into that season, if you're a person that doesn't want to eat the stuff, find somebody to give it to that actually will. Have it go to use. If that means you got to clean it, God forbid, to give it away, do so. If they're willing to clean them for you, then give them to them and have them clean them for you. But be a better outdoorsman or outdoorswoman. Let's face it, guys, it's not just us. Women do it too, sadly. But if you're a person doing this, figure out another avenue to be able to utilize the resource. It's easy for everybody to get up on their soapbox and bitch and piss and moan about there's no ducks, there's no ducks, there's no ducks. But then when you get them, they're trash to you. There's got to be a different way. So going into next season, guys, my call to action for each and every one of us, I look at it from this perspective, and I know there's a lot of people either listening to this podcast or that there's some of them that I even know. The Midwest freezer. The Midwest outdoor hunting person's freezer. You go out, you get your turkey in the spring, or your turkey or two. You put them in bags, you throw them in the deep freezer in the garage or in the basement, what have you. Then you go out all summer long catching all your bags of fish that you just can't live without. Put them in the bags, throw them in the freezer, throw them in the freezer, throw them in the freezer. For the record, guys, when it comes to ducks, you can't have 100 ducks in your freezer. That's against the law. The reason why the stuff exists about possession limit and daily bag limit is possession limit is to keep you from not taking limit after limit after limit, throwing it in your freezer. And you're seeing where I'm going with this. The deer season gets here, and you whack a couple deer, throw them in the freezer, throw them in the freezer, throw them in the freezer. And now we get to the beginning of duck season again, or turkey season for that matter. So what do you guys do? You dig out the breast meat that's in the bottom of your freezer from a year prior, and you realize it's freezer burnt, and you go, oh, that sucks, and it goes right in the garbage. What's the difference between that and somebody that's thrown them in the ditch? You go through your freezer and you pack it full just to never utilize any of it because you're too damn lazy to take the effort to do so. Because Chipotle gets delivered to your door, hot and ready. So the next time you're going to take an animal going into this year, have a plan. My call to action for each and every one of us as sportsmen. Am I perfect? No, I'm not. I found things in my freezer that I wish I would have eaten, that it sucked that it got shimmied down to the bottom because the bag of this or the bag of that I put on top of it kind of pushed it to the bottom. Yeah, pisses me off when I find that stuff. But the call to action is just simply to use it as you're taking it. Because after all, guys, 100 ducks in your freezer, that's not legal. So every one of us could be illegal if you're just piling your freezer full of birds. The reason for that possession limit is to use them as you're shooting them. And before you go out again, well, utilizing some of them so they don't go to waste. That's how you should be looking at possession limit. So until the next one, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. Take the time to figure out recipes. Understand how to cook. Look up people online that show you recipes, show you how to do things. We have Instagram, TikTok, we got YouTube, we got all these resources at our disposal. Utilize them. Utilize them to take your ducks, your deer, your turkey, your fish to the fry pan, to the Instapot versus the dumpster and the ditch. Because after all, at the end of the day, guys, these animals deserve more than just being something that gets killed and thrown away. Till the next one, guys, appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.